If you're a fan of Ibrahim Traoré, the things I'm going to reveal in this video may break some of the assumptions that you think you know about him. See, there's something happening online that I need to address today because it affects me, it affects my channel, and it affects all of you out there that are doing things like marching on Ibrahim Traoré's behalf, supporting him, showing solidarity for African independence and liberation. And the truth is, as I discovered for myself, some of this may not be comfortable for you to hear, but the truth is the truth, and we're going to talk about it in this video. If you're interested in that, stay tuned. So for those of you that don't know, my name is TJ, I'm Nigerian and British mixed. And on this channel, we talk about African geopolitics. So over the past few months, I have been putting out videos in support of Ibrahim Traoré. And I just want to say on record right now that I'm still in massive support of Ibrahim Traoré. In fact, I'm a supporter of African prosperity, independence. I'm against any entity, country, organization that wants to come in Africa and do Africa wrong. I believe I'm someone that lives by this. A few years ago, I left the UK where I mostly grew up, where all my family and friends are, and I moved to the continent because I see a better future for Africa and I want to contribute to the betterment of Africa. So I hope that's enough for you to understand that I'm talking about this because I believe this needs to be said for the betterment of the continent. See, earlier today, I came up with a concept for a video. I was going to talk about the World Bank, the IMF loan, and a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. The book is authored by a guy called John Perkins, and he talks about how the World Bank, the IMF, and some other institutions go into African countries, and indeed many other developing areas around the world, and they offer ridiculous loans that they know cannot be paid back. And this is done specifically in a predatory fashion. He was actively involved in this process, and that's where he got all the information to write the book. So when these countries can't pay back these loans, they put draconian deals on that nation. They extract resources, and it ends up being totally crippling for that nation. This is a playbook that we've seen in Africa many times over. And I think any African or African diaspora that wants to see Africa succeed has a general idea of this and wants to see this kind of behavior ending. Now, the dark side of this goes even further, according to this John Perkins guy, who says that whenever they come across a president or a leader on the continent or in a developing country that does not want to play ball, does not want to take loans, that president will be taken out. The reason I was going to make a video about this book is because I was going to do a comparison between a president that has taken IMF loans and Ibrahim Traoré, whom I was convinced has not taken any IMF loans. Because over time, I have seen story and posts and links and YouTube videos that explain to me that Ibrahim Traoré is a revolutionary that has rejected IMF, World Bank. All that was left for me to do was go and draw out the facts so that I could talk about it responsibly, make the comparison video, and boom, I would post it. Here's an example of some of the posts that have been sent to me and that I've seen. Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traoré rejects IMF and World Bank loans, advocates for African self-reliance. Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré rejected loans from the IMF and World Bank. Africa does not need the World Bank, IMF, Europe, or America. We have what it takes to grow our economy without loans and refuse to be financial slaves. Ibrahim Traoré. But what I found out was the following. This is from the World Bank's website. Burkina Faso World Bank sets up support for human capital. Already that word in human capital, I don't even know what that means. It doesn't sound like anything good to me. September 19, 2024. That would definitely put this firmly underneath Ibrahim Traoré's regime. The World Bank today approved a 100 million human capital projection project to support the government's efforts to deliver basic social services in Burkina Faso. In the health sector, this new operation will improve access to services through financing, free healthcare to ensure that health needs of women and children are considered. And it goes on to break down further about this deal, this $100 million human capital projection project. I like the sound of free healthcare, and I've seen many stories about how Ibrahim Traoré has made free healthcare. But how do we out there feel about $100 million loan? He is currently right now in a deal that I think many people would have thought he would never enter because he's the activist, he's the guy that rejects the West. I can't tell you how many times I've been sent stuff like this. President Ibrahim Traoré has successfully and officially paid his country's national debts. As we speak, Burkina Faso is the only African country with no international debt. That is patently false. Reuters has even written about it. Fact check, Burkina Faso has external debt and there is no evidence that it was paid off in March. And so the rabbit hole gets deeper. This here is a video that I've been seeing doing the rounds. And what it has is Ibrahim Traoré talking in extremely articulate English.
Because you see, it's all this Western press and all that, which have contributed to putting the African people's consciousness to sleep. It's their narrative that gets through and all that. And we've been able to realize that often they invent big lies just to divide people, to allow their policies to operate and do whatever they want.
The issue I have with a video like this is that it's extremely popular. It gets shared, it gets spread far and wide, but this cannot be Ibrahim Traoré's real voice, and we don't know if whatever's being said here is the true depiction of what he's saying. Why? Because Ibrahim Traoré doesn't speak English. At least if he speaks English, he does not speak as articulately as this. In this particular video, the interviewer is never shown. You never hear a single question. It's just a massively long video with Ibrahim Traoré just talking endlessly with no input from anyone else about the imperialists, the downfall of the West, and all of the things that many people like to hear when they hear about Ibrahim Traoré. And it opens the opportunity for you and I and the rest of the world to be manipulated. Now, I'm happy when I hear about positive things about Ibrahim Traoré, but I want those things to be accurate and true. Now, funny enough, I came across a manipulation like this a couple of years ago.
A viral video supposedly showing the new president of Senegal criticizing the country's former colonial power France has been circulating across the internet since after he was sworn into office on 24 March. Footage purporting to show President Faye has been widely shared across social media with captions claiming he has told France to leave us alone. In the video, a man speaking in English says,
"It is high time for France to lift its knee off our neck and put an end to this unjust oppression. Centuries of misery, human trafficking, colonization, and neocolonization have caused immeasurable suffering."
So that video was not, first of all, of the president, it was of his associate Sanko. And it's an AI video. It turns out that this guy never said any of this stuff, and it wasn't accurate to anything he's ever said. I got duped by this and I made a video about it. Later, I had to bring out another video to say, hey, I got duped, don't get duped. Here we are again with the same situation, but now on a bigger scale, because Ibrahim Traoré is way more popular. All it does is open up the door for more division, more misinformation, more entities that do not have Africans' best interests at heart to come in and create distractions and dysfunction. So as a watcher and a consumer of pro-African content, geopolitical content, you must be prepared to have a skeptical eye and look at things with due diligence. Indeed, if I find out that something that I've reported on or seen or analyzed is incorrect, I will call that out. So if we go back for a second and we understand that Ibrahim Traoré has indeed taken up a deal with the World Bank, what does that actually mean? What does that mean for the perspective that we have of him? What does that mean for the deals that he's making? What does that mean for the well-being of the country? These are open questions that I struggle to find the answer to. I don't really know what it means. Although the country's getting free healthcare, we know that these loans can be predatory. One thing I have to say about leadership is that you can't please everybody. And I believe in giving leaders the space to see what outcomes happen from what they do. I'm still a massive supporter of Ibrahim Traoré. I do not want to see him assassinated. I want the message that he's putting out to spread far and wide. I want the country of Burkina Faso, and indeed Africa, to keep growing. I would love to see that without crippling debt from countries and entities and banks. But sadly, it seems like that's not going to be the case here. And I don't know about you, but I've never been in charge of a country. I don't know what these things take. A lot of the time, we are armchair quarterbacks. We think we know the best. Do we really? We don't know how things work in the inner circles of the inner circles. We don't know what the deals mean for Russia or BRICS relationships. We don't know what may need to be done. But one thing I do know from business is that you must be able to make compromises. And when you make compromises, that means giving up some things that you may not want to give up. If we lie about Ibrahim Traoré, if we paint a better picture and we find out that things are untrue, people can point and say, this is a dishonest campaign. This is a dishonest thing. You believe in something delusional. You're not willing to believe the truth. It breaks his credibility. It works against him. So what do you think about this out there? I'm sure you have lots to say. Please put it in the comments section. But if you have nothing to say and you want to support the channel, would it be too much for me to ask you to say the words "truth matters" in the comment section? It lets me know that you support the channel, you like what I'm doing, and you want me to continue. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. you.